Hello my dear viewers, and welcome to a new video. I hope that you are all having a wonderful week and still enjoying this magical game. Today's game is League of Legends Peak Performance, and I am not talking about skill display, macro or micro calls. We are talking here about the fortitude of the mind. Are you mentally stable enough to withstand the sheer tilt of this game? Or are you way tilted into your own delusion that small challenges like these won't faze you an inch? Well, in this game, I think it is a rare sight to feel the hopelessness before even seeing your lane performance. It all started normally, like your everyday morning with a nice breakfast with black coffee with some honey and your regular salty snack, then followed up with your regular relaxing activity, which is ganking your top side, our lovely Rengar top players, one of the champions that I am very fond of. If Set represents the one-punch man, then Rengar represents the "you are already dead" meme, the original form. Both are good picks and synergize very well with the bear. I'm not accustomed to witnessing a victorious solo lane, but it always leaves a chilling feeling in my chest, as if destiny is smiling at me, comforting me, ensuring that everything will be fine in the end. A winning top lane represents everything a person wishes for: the perfect, loyal wife, the grateful, healthy children, and an infinite number of tasty snacks that you can gobble during your 30-minute lunch break at work. While my relaxed mind was concocting the plan to set up my Giga Chad carry for success, then moving from one lane to another to spread joy and happiness in the rift, as your fluffy, ever-loving bear, in this moment of serenity, my breath was taken away. In the midst of this happy moment, a sudden burst of noise started to occur somewhere on the rift. A useless, hopeless, mindless, I don't know what it is. Even the lore is kind of lost on the nature of that champion. Started to assume the position of many roles as if it is suffering from some sort of bipolar schizophrenia, Down syndrome, or something similar that I would like to call verbal diarrhea. The moment I noticed this irregularity, I instantly dealt with it appropriately, and I knew in that instant that this game is where one can improve as a solo player. If it is a loss that you promise me, then I'll show you total victory from this instant. I believe that a winner is not someone who simply wins, but someone who does what they want to do. I've decided that we will be winning with our Rengar, and if not, I'll Susum my way to victory by myself. Right then and there, Ahri also got infected with the "I am useless, help me please" disease, and she dropped the nuke on me, blaming Jungle Diff instantly with her awkward positioning and aggressive play with no plan in mind. I won't stress much over her since by the time she started talking, I also muted her along with the flock of chickens. Among the variety of mid-laner mage picks, I have a special place for Ahri. I would say if there is a psych ward, and we have a special room for those who are mentally challenged in gaming and don't know how to use Flash, they give them Ahri to practice the use of that ability. That sums up in general how I feel about that champion. This introduction will help you visualize our team composition. It is a huge, beefy front lane bear and a bulkier cat fellow making their way to victory. It's the full Beast Mode Brotherhood episode that any true thrill lover can seek in this beautiful game named League of Legends. Sometimes, what you need to improve as a player is a challenging environment that will reveal your potential beyond what you can currently perceive. Of course, the enemy team has no idea what's happening on our side of the game, and I kind of feel sorry for them because they'll bear the brunt of the wrath and slaughter that others deserve. If only League had the option of friendly fire, I'm sure many issues would have been resolved in the early game. Continuing with the theme of dealing with this game, let me introduce you to the other side of our team, the cheek that's bigger than the other. If Kai'Sa represents verbal diarrhea, then this one is the physical diarrhea. It's like your neighbor clogged his toilet so much that it overflowed, and now he's knocking on your door to use your restroom. The only problem is that he'll be leaving a mess all the way to your toilet from the front door, through the kitchen, and into your dining room. This is how I see Lux in the game. She decided to start stealing my jungle camps, abandoning her lane and any presence in the game. Right at that moment, something clicked in my mind. I believe that when faced with random chaotic pressure, I can tap into my true potential as a player in this game. And with that realization, I knew I'd secure that win, no matter what happens. Even if it's the last thing I do, I'll prove to these idiots that in this game we only lose if we don't play the game. Our Rengar was doing great work. And honestly, when you find yourself in a 2v8 situation, the only thing you hope for is that your brother in arms doesn't give up. You might wonder, do I have a plan in my mind? The answer is no. Do I have a build plan? Again, no. Right now, all I seek is total domination achieved by raw power, not strategic planning. I simply want to smack the living shit out of everyone in this game. It's the hardest path to victory, and I plan on taking it one step at a time. But in this game, there are roles, and our team mainly occupies two positions. The first is the center of attention, the 0 point of battle. In other words, the showmaker. The second role is the sword that cuts down anyone with a single sweep. My guiding light, the faker that lures the enemy into certain death. So the back and forth are simply split between us, me and Rengar, as the roles of a shield and a sword. Any accessories are welcome to join us as long as the game progresses, but they are not necessary. A helmet can be there to protect your face or block the view, and one must always rely on the tools they have at the moment, rather than what they would have if things were going in their favor. After 20 minutes of endless battling with the enemy, we've reached a gatekeeping situation. It's that moment where the main character in your favorite anime can hold his own against the villain. He's not winning yet, but whatever the enemy throws at his face, he can either dodge it or take it head on. This is the true power of a good League of Legends player, having an unyielding spirit that doesn't know when to quit. No matter what they say about this aspect, it can manifest in many negative forms such as stubborn, ignorant of his limits, or simply, he's wasting his time. But in reality, where else can someone find out more about themselves outside of the realm of video gaming if life outside is as mundane as your day-to-day work? This game is my gateway to reality, and the real enemies are not the opponents we're facing, but rather my own allies trying their best to convince us to surrender and try again later. Why wait for next time when you're already doing it right now? Pajama Rengar and I are in a dimension of our own. After a while, it becomes a harmonious dance of killing and chasing the enemy out of our territory. This is Primal Fiesta at its finest, and I'm sure that someone who dares to pick Ahri or Kai'Sa wouldn't get the feeling of being at the vanguard, smelling and being the first to say hi to the enemy. I thank Riot for one thing, and that's the mute button. From time to time, I catch one of my teammates standing and doing nothing. That's a sign that they're typing something, a meaningless sequence of letters only to drag you further down the rabbit hole. But here we are, safe and immune to all those sorts of messages, with only one goal in mind. At this stage of the game, we all know what to do to win. The enemy can't kill us, and even if they do, they can't push. The optimal thing I can do right now is to be enough of a threat so that Rengar can do his own thing freely. The rest are just there for decoration. Every time I die, the last thing I remember is Yon's crit damage, so I'll be going for Randuin's, and I'll choose a fifth item based on how the game progresses. Regarding the objective we should be going for, it's divide and conquer. I don't think anyone can kill me by themselves, and Zack's CC is enough to put me in a stasis situation, so I'll simply wait for them to go kill one of our less useful players, and I'll jump on the one that Rengar isn't focusing on. This is the way of the hunter. We strike when the enemy least expects it. It also seems that Ahri is slightly investing herself in this game unlike the early game, which is a good thing. Leading by example is by far the most effective way to deliver a message, much better than typing and trying to convince someone with your own words. This is not Naruto Shippuden, and the villain is actually Sakura, not Pain. So the solution is to beat them so badly that your own allies start to fear you. Then you will achieve inner and outer peace, rather than hand-holding and mindless talk about how we feel, and everyone's ideas are worth listening to. For the past few patches, I've encountered an issue whenever Volibear is banned or picked. However, I think this Rengar gave me the solution, and you guys should expect me to start working on my kitty performance if the bear is taken away from me. It's a simple, raw, and decisive power play. To top it off, the character is as epic as the bear, and I also like cats. Sometimes things are just right there in your face, and you can't see them until they're the only thing that can be seen. On the other side, I haven't been able to farm my camps for a while now. Thankfully, I found some waves to soak the experience and gold from. However, this Lux made it her own goal to change my difficulty in this game from hard to diabolical. She could have gone and started to int, but these guys are too cowardly to lose their accounts full of skins that are worth more than their bank account savings. Hence, I'll treat them as they truly are, a secondary pet that does damage to my camps. But who would have thought? This option was already inherent in the system, and it's not a new concept for junglers. The only thing I hope for is that Zack's ballsack lands on top of her face, if he has any courage down there, and gives us the peace of mind needed to play the game. However, Ari broke free from the voodoo spell that was cast on her early in the game, and she is now an active member of our Justice League. I give her the title of the Wonder Fox. Of course, I still despise her champion simply due to its stupid concept. But the fact that she is playing the game will only make me focus on her presence around me and not who she is. Who would have thought we would actually be going for a Baron call? This happened because the Pillars of Hope never gave up, not even in the darkest moments of this game. You might experience a similar game and lose, but here's the difference. I'm not playing multiple games. For me, every season is just one long game split into different episodes. As long as I'm confident in my own performance, I'll always be winning, no matter who is with me and who is against me. The only difference is whether it will be an agreeable experience like this, or a boring one where there is no challenge whatsoever. Right now, at this exact moment, we are winning as a team, even with that bot side. In other words, you just need 2 other good teammates to win, and that should be the foundation of your expectations in every game. As a jungler or shot caller, if you're provided with 2 good players, you should find a way to win and make sure it becomes the reality of that game. This game is a strong example that solo laners carry harder than a duo bot, and the bot side functions as its own team. Of course, Riot is doing its best to make you believe that AD carries are the carries. They even put that in the name. But in reality, the one who can carry is the one who doesn't need others and is independent from start to finish, because this is called solo queue. Yes, you can be a solo carry from the bot side, and that is entirely respectable. Just remember, solo laners and duo laners are 2 different breeds. And if you want to know what it feels like, you're welcome to pick your champion in mid and top to understand what it means to play in the present and not in the future. For the support players, I have one word for you: utility. Pick a useful champion. Otherwise, you'll be creating more problems than solving them for yourself and for others. Here we are, Lux, as useless as the first time I laid my eyes on you. And what can you do now facing someone as broken as the next upcoming champion? Exactly. From dust to the gray screen. As they say, how you do anything is how you do everything. This player showed us exactly how not to play this game, and we should be grateful that people like him are still alive to show us the wrong way of existing. Not that we have reached the point of no return. Any attempt at surrendering is pointless, and the win is at hand. Even though I am not looking at what Rengar does, I know exactly what he's about. He's chasing a high-value target right now, making sure that we have the option of playing the game.
Hello there.
Being around an assassin for 30 minutes will teach you a thing or two. The sad part is that I didn't get to fight this Shaco at all in a normal duel. It was always a half skirmish into another fight. Also, I didn't want to invest many resources in this encounter because it doesn't matter to me if Kai'Sa is alive or dead. But if Shaco is dead, it means there's no clown around to bother Rengar. I'm sure that this Ziggs is experiencing the same fate. Oddly enough, I didn't know that Ziggs' knock-up bomb, if used correctly, can be used consecutively. It's an admirable feat, and I'll be looking forward to having someone like you in my games. One of the few champions that have the carry potential from behind. No wonder Ari was having a rough time against you. With this, my dear friends, you have witnessed a game unlike any other. From an absolute shitshow early game to an absolute rampage in the late game. I didn't think much about the outcome, to be honest. I just didn't want to lose because of my bot side. And with this, my dear viewers, our time together has come to an end. As always, if you're new to the channel, subscribe and leave me a comment. I always enjoy hearing your thoughts on the Volibear experience. Take care, everyone, and peace out.